Friday.
Happy Friday.
Hey, it's Casey and Kara with Fri YAY, and today's special episode of 5-Minute-ish Fri YAY, we are here to talk about reopening businesses and how to effectively communicate and market that message to your audience. We're going to tell you some 6 quick tips on messaging, share some good examples of what to do and what not to do. And hopefully, as everyone starts to open their businesses up, if you're choosing to do so, you have the tools and the information that you need to do so successfully. We're not going to so much dig into all the regulations and the feelings about it and any of that. What we're here for is specifically like how to make sure you're covering your bases and spreading the message to your audience in a clear manner. So let's get started with our tips. So tip number 1 is to use photos and videos to express your message. So Kara, can you tell us a little bit about the effects of like seeing something in video or a photo versus
Well, I think there's 2 parts to it. I think one, social media, people expect to see visual. They want to see visual. They're not going to want to read a whole slew of things. I think 2, as humans especially, we are so inundated. We have so much going on that no one wants to take the time or the energy to read something. And not only that, information stays a lot of the time a lot longer. It's a lot more captivating if it's done in a video where you have visual and audio, or if it's done in a graphic or a photo and a small caption at the
bottom. Hang tight, there appears to be a problem. I'm getting a message in Facebook saying that they're having trouble playing the video.
Oh, I got a thing saying that it was live. If it's done in a graphic.
All right. Well,
it looks fine.
It looks fine from the user end, so we'll keep going. But on the back end, I'm getting a message that they're having trouble playing it. So, all right, keep rolling. Sorry.
Let's hope that everything is good. But yeah, show us how you're taking precautions. If you're keeping your staff and customers safe, how are you doing that? And what protocols or safety tips or regulations are you using for your restaurant, for your store, for your office? If you and your office are back to work, show those things and express, if you have excitement about being back open, if you have concerns, even then, share in a visually pleasing way, all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that kind of leads us into tip number 2 is you want to make sure that you're covering your bases and you're giving out all the relevant information, but there's kind of a fine line there, right? Of giving too much information or too much at one time.
Or repeating information that is very much general to the public everywhere as well.
Right. And especially in the social media world, you've got to kind of break that info up, maybe into a series of posts or photos or videos.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend staying away from long, lengthy, wordy lists. That's one of our examples of what not to do, is because, it's intimidating to look at. And people's nerves, you have to understand psychologically where people may be at. Not everyone is in this space, but a lot of people still feel really uneasy. And so you need to address their concerns. But if you've got a bullet point list of 20 different things, break that up. Break that up as much as you can. And maybe, or even putting that into an FAQ document and sharing
put it into a document, or if you make a video answering a lot of those, If you put it on Facebook, pin it at the top. If you have on Instagram, put it in your stories for the day, and then save those to a highlight reel, and title it COVID information or keeping you safe, something like that, to where in your posts and your captions you can refer people back to that information, so it's there, it's readily available, but you're not continuously pushing it into other people's faces.
Absolutely. And so, with that, that leads into tip number 3, which is just to cover your bases and show your information across your web presence. We actually have a handy little checklist we're going to share the link to at the end here so everyone can download this checklist. But no matter where your audience is, you want to make sure that you're sending a consistent message about what they can expect. No matter where someone goes to look you up, because everyone's going to have their own preference of where they look for this information, you want to make sure that no matter where someone goes, they see the information that they need in the display the way that they need to consume it.
Right. And if you have employees, please make sure that they are also all on the same page. I have heard from a few different people that the main issue during this time has been different employees having different information, giving different information. There was a large corporation who had that issue. So please just make sure all of your employees have the same thing and are giving out the same information.
Yeah, and so that kind of leads us into another discussion that we didn't really plan on talking about. But you're going to have different audiences, especially I think about our nonprofit friends, who maybe as they start to do their thing again, maybe they're concerned about, well, they have their volunteers, they have their team members, they have their beneficiaries of, they have their donors. And so you're going to have different messages for each audience, and it's important to keep that separate and clear as possible. So tip number 4, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but this goes back to that, just go to the baseline of where people might be at with feelings towards how this is all unfolding. And so sympathy. Approach with sympathy and sensitivity as much as you can. Your tone is always important, but it's even more important now. Our friend Janet always has been saying for days, I've been in all these Zoom calls with Janet, so shout out to Janet with Channel 13. She has been saying it's a mixed bag out there, guys.
Right, exactly. So keep in mind, keep, as they say, PC as much as you can, and just be conscious.
I think the best thing you can do with that, though, is, you don't want to appear to be just like tiptoeing around things, like transparency. But I think as long as you're coming across and you're expressing that your main concern is just to keep everyone safe, that makes everyone happy. Who doesn't love to have that warm, fuzzy feeling that the companies that they're patronizing really genuinely care about them?
Exactly.
All right. So tip number 5, Carrie, you want to take that one?
Yeah, this one can be kind of tough, especially during the circumstances of things are yet changing again. People, and companies are really excited, things are happening again, but we still want to press upon the point. It's still your posts, everything still needs to try and be as consistent as possible. Your customers, your followers will appreciate it. That way they'll know and expect when you're posting, when to look for information, how to, if you have someone that you can designate to help you with that, or if you are, or make a timed sheet of when you post. We have a spreadsheet for some of our clients, and we'll put, okay, the post on these days is this time, and if we're doing stories, what time are we going to post the stories? And a great tip, if you are unaware, is to, on Instagram, take your post for the day and you can actually share it to your stories. Under the post, there'll be a little arrow. you can share it to your stories, and that will get more people to see that you've made a post. And so that is a great way to do that too, so that people know, okay, they've made a post. What time is it? This is the time that they're going to be posting.
Yeah, a little heads up goes a long ways, right? So if you have a big announcement to make, just do a post before that and say, hey, look here on Friday at noon, and I'm going to go live and tell you XYZ about our plans for reopening. Or, I'm going to jump on here and talk about, we still don't know what day we're going to go back to the office, something like that. So just make sure that you're doing it consistently.
Exactly. Like sometimes we'll jump on Instagram stories and kind of push people over to Facebook and say, hey, we're going to be doing our Friday live at noon. Go check it out. So that's always a great way to get people from one platform to another as well.
Yeah, and then our sixth and final tip is to be ready to respond. Because before, people will share those reactions and emotions in their comments and messages to you, and you need to respond to that, no matter if they're positive or negative. And just be ready and have a communication plan of how you would answer whatever extreme that you get. Even, it's always better to have a plan in place, so that if something happens or if some communication comes your way and you haven't thought about it, you're going to scramble and then probably stumble a little bit. And so you just want to keep that clear and in a good game plan.
Right. In whether it's a Word document or your notes section or your phone, just write down some, quick little helps of kind of an idea of what you're going to respond back to. But please keep an eye on your comments and your messages, because there will be, especially in the next couple of weeks, probably a good amount of questions for each individual business on, their procedures and everything. And try to, stay calm, know that people don't always read the information that you put out there. So you can either answer or refer them to a specific post. But just know that those will be coming.
Yeah, and so, we've seen a lot of, today in Virginia, for those of you who are here, we've seen a lot of great examples of what to do and what not to do. And so I want to I don't know them, but can I just give some serious love to the Dirty Buffalo restaurant? Because if you want a great example of how to handle all of this, and despite the fact that they've delayed their reopening, just the way that they've gone about getting that messaging out there. And I know they're a bigger company. They've grown really rapidly over the past few years. They have a pretty good sized team working on things, but they've done a fantastic job of communicating and marketing this. And just go watch their video that they shared the other day of their staff and owners talking about their plans for delaying reopening. It's so good. It's so well done. So we do have, a good checklist here that I'm going to share in the comments, and you're going to be able to go and download this handy dandy checklist. And then if you have any other questions about reopening, where to post, what post, any creative ideas to how to go about it, drop those in the comments below. We'll be happy to jump in and answer. And just stay tuned for next week. We'll be back with another episode, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Bye.